Deceleration, deceleration.news. Coming to you with a little new intro music, 2022. We're going to be talking with the composer of this arrangement here, Mr. George Garza Jr., in just a minute as we try to get back on production track for the new year. George Garza Jr., some of y'all know personally, others know through Pop Pistol project of many years here in San Antonio. Put this together with Deceleration. I wanted to just put out a little blast real quick and give him some recognition, some thanks, and let y'all know where this came from. So I called George up and we had a little conversation about the project, about the music, and I want to roll this conversation I had with George, who's just been a friend over many years, since I've been in San Antonio, almost 2000. We may have met in 8 or 9, but so some thoughts on that music. I'm going to play it again at the outro here, so you can check it out, and without much more delay, here's George.
My name is George Garza Jr., and I am a San Antonio born and bred musician. Been making music since I was 15 years old, so more than 20 years now. And Deceleration approached me about this project for creating an intro theme, kind of interlude, like a piece of music that complemented what Deceleration was about. So in the process of kind of getting to know exactly what the message was or how we wanted it to come across, and trying to tie in some of the themes of the work, I took it kind of literally, and I went out and I did like some field recording, and I recorded the sounds of where I was at outside in nature, but in the city. So I was able to get a good recording of I don't know what kind of truck, but it must have had a diesel engine of some sort, and it was parked and it was just humming. It was like we wanted to have the music playing, have the music come out as like sort of a peeling away of these layers of this industrious world, this like churning feeling of just industry, like creating all this extra noise in layers. But when you peel back the layers of all of this, activity, you reveal that underneath it the whole time is this landscape, this nature, and that kind of ambient, peaceful, serene kind of quality that we get when we step away from our busy little lives. So I used that moment as like the inspiration for all the music that came afterwards. So trying to then emulate some of those sounds with the instruments, but also give it a bit of a groove. And at first I had done something that to me felt like a little like Stranger Things type, because I was playing everything on this electronic MIDI keyboard, aside from the guitar recordings I did. And so I came upon like this arpeggiated chord thing, and it gave me a vibe, and it kind of had like this ominous feeling to it. And I was like, I like it, but it's very derivative of that style. And when we got to talking and kind of reviewing, I shared with you where we were at with that, just through your feedback, and over the course of like another iteration, I think I may have sent to you, we decided to make it longer. So by that time I was like, okay, I got rid of the arpeggiated keyboard, and I used that more of like an inspiration to do something that still had like a pulse to it. So I wound up using a delay effect with the bass guitar. So it was like bum 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 bum. Whenever I would play, that echoing note was there, and it creates like its own kind of rhythm too when you're playing on that specific, that pace when you're playing off of the repeated echo that's being produced digitally, right, from this pedal. And I messed around with some of the other effect pedals that I have. So there's like a light distortion going on in there, and it was actually 2 different delay pedals that were kind of helping create more layered effect. And as I elongated the track to make it, instead of 30 seconds, which was really like pushing it, so like
Mm-hmm.
it was like the first iteration when it came together, where it had the chords of the guitar. It was almost like mostly basically just that part, like feeling like this resolution happening. So when we decided to make it longer, I got to like really focus in on the beginning, which was everything that was initially represented by the vehicle. And it's that vehicle is still inside the recording. Like
Mm-hmm.
that field recording is in there. It lives in there. But I was able to do a lot more in like creating that feeling and working on that pulse. Um, and so I wound up putting the bass guitar through the whole thing. And in the beginning, it's kind of subtle where the notes just come in like wong
Mm-hmm.
wong 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 wong. You know, like there's this. It's almost like a gong droning, but also a pulse. You know,
Mm-hmm.
um, before it starts moving a little bit more. So it actually, with the other chords that are going on in there, there's like some synth stuff, and there's a little bit of movement, like there's a little bit of melody in there, and it raises, and it's supposed to be like this, almost a raising of the tension. You know, it's like
Mm-hmm.
the moment rising, like there's a bit of a sense of alarm that
Mm-hmm.
happens there in the beginning part of it. I got into just the rock and roll thing that I'm used to, you know, the Pop Pistols does danga 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 danga. At that point, I'm already hooked into the groove of the.
But I like how when the bass comes in, it doesn't feel like it's driving the story, right? I mean, it comes from
Mm-hmm.
inside of it, and it's,
Mm-hmm.
I think the way you had it kind of like off tempo, leaning off tempo a little bit, or like limping
Mm-hmm.
behind a little bit. It told me it was a player, but it was also like it becomes a transformative kind of energy, towards a resolution, towards a like an
Mm-hmm.
uncluttering almost of the sound. It reminds me, I mean, it speaks to something, and why one of the reasons I approached you about the project to begin with is because I feel like in your music, and this is something I think people definitely connect to, and why people probably connect to Pop Pistol is because I feel like in that project, you and your partners are kind of like directing people into like another world, right? Like acoustically, sonically, I feel like there's something else that's being
Yeah.
revealed, and that's what I wanted. The message I want through Deceleration is, we have to generate and create this together, and I feel like you're doing that.
Oh, thank you. Yes, it's
Mm-hmm.
definitely. I mean, now it's so like it's just the mode. I don't. That's just where. That's how we all grew that consciousness of just the music project, of how we were doing approaching the music. It is another world. It is like I always tell people, if one of my lines is like, it's kind of like we're going on a journey, or it's a teleportation through through sound, through music.
Mm-hmm.
um, and yeah, it's gonna come through in anything I do. So getting to work on this solo was very interesting, because I'm kind of building the building blocks of it all. um, but yeah, it definitely leans in that direction. And
Mm-hmm.
then it's like being a part of this world where that there's something going on, but the world makes more sense as the pieces come together and start to take shape, and you start to like be able to dissect the things that are happening. And that was a part of the process too, is then like slowly like peeling back these little layers and showing something. And the bass is like the bass guitar is the a part of that movement that is weaving through there to like discover the other piece of it, like what else is here. It's like first starts
Mm-hmm.
out very kind of almost linear, and then it starts to like search for something else. And
Mm-hmm.
so each of those moments was really nice to work on. I treated it like it was happening in movements, and like every new little, I guess, riff you would say otherwise, but
Mm-hmm.
all of those were like another moment to kind of like shift what was happening and to continue to like pull those other pieces away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just really was inspired by the early conversations going back and forth about what we were representing, and the whole time just being in communication with you about what we were shooting for. I felt like you gave me such a clear understanding of what we were collaborating on, and and I was really, really pleased to work on it, and really pleased like to continue like, wait, hold on, like even at some point it was like, hold on, I think I need to go back in and mess with this mix again. I would listen to it, take some space, come back to it, and like, hold on, like we're still getting to that point where it feels like this is the message, this is the clarity of it all. So I'm hoping that's what comes through, you know, and that in the end, as you peel the back away, this like whatever is that ominous drudgery, you know, that feeling of like this, it's almost like a world of concrete and steel and all those like, you know, that kind of atmosphere, that it really opens up, you know, that there's a sense of like light coming in, and then there's a sense of like connection to the earth and to like this space and this sereneness, and like let's kind of like explore getting out of that, you know. It's like almost in reverse of what it would be like trying to get out of the jungle, right? We're trying to get out of the concrete jungle and wind up in a like a sacred space, you know. So all those intentions are there, and I was really really happy to work on it. It was a good exercise for me, and I thank you. I thank you for inviting me.
No, it's a blast going back, trading that back and forth. So this, when we broadcast on the 1st of February, I think, I don't know if the residency will still be going on at that point, but how can people find you, find your work, and support you?
The best way to keep up with me as an artist, which would be, you know, in touch with all the different projects, I'm gonna say is to follow me on Instagram, because that's the main channel right now. And then I'll have the whole link in bios and stuff, so you can kind of like keep up with the different projects. Because I do Pop Pistol still got stuff going on. Obviously, we've been playing, and we've got new music that we've been debuting every show. So we're always in the process of writing, and that record that we'll be working on, when we finally release it, it'll be worth the wait. Another project that's like really huge for me right now, is very exciting to finally be working on my own album. So as a songwriter, and in collaboration with some really great people in town, bringing a lot of songs that I've been writing over the years and some newer stuff that people haven't heard, bringing that to fruition with the full band recording. So I was
awesome. That's
very
great
grateful
news.
I got selected. Thank you. I got selected for one of the city's individual artist grants. And I'm using that to kind of like put the money back into the community, because it's all about paying everybody to help me produce this vision. I'm working with Michael Carrillo of Deer Vibes and Michael J and the Foxes as a producer. So he's going to help me really bring some of this stuff to life, because genre-wise, it's like very expansive, and he kind of has one foot in like this country, southern, southwest world with Michael J and the Foxes, but then his background with Deer Vibes is like this orchestral, these masterpieces, these epic, like arrangements and everything. And I have that vision for these songs, so he just stood out as a perfect partner. I'll be recording it with Nina Diaz at the Beat Girl Productions. I'm going to be one of her first clients there. It's all super exciting. Yeah, like a big San Antonio music family project. The musicians that I'll have playing on it will be familiar to those that kind of like have been scoping out what I've been involved in the music scene, I guess for like the last 10 years or so. So it's exciting.
Yeah.
And that'll be all through the @pop_bass Instagram. That's kind of like the easiest way to get to it. I have a website and I have all these other things, but there's going to be a series of relaunching and like the storytelling. The album will come out in 2023, so next year in January, but I'll be working on it all year long, and there'll be lots of cool updates there. I just want to say a big thank you to you, and a lot of love in every direction. I mean, that's the message. Is like it's about spreading those good vibes with each other, kind of taking a moment to pause, taking a moment to listen, kind of getting present with everybody that you have time with. These moments are like all about reflection and growth. I think it's kind of wild world that we're living in right now, but I remain very hopeful and encouraged. So I hope if anything that message comes across, and especially with the music that we're presenting and everything that Deceleration is putting out. So.
Cool. All right, bro. Well, it's very good to see you as always. It's been fun working on this
Yes, thank you
project.
so much again.
All right.
Appreciate you.
All right. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye. George Garza Jr. As much as I enjoy his artistic work, his musical work, I always come back. I always come back to him for that heart. When he talks about reflection, he talks about community, he talks about growth, and in the time that we're in, really, I think that measure, the rest he puts inside of his music and in his relationship is something we can all kind of sit with and sit inside together. So anyway, that's I teed up this little live stream because I wanted to share that conversation and to highlight this music. So you'll hear it. Hopefully, if this is like, again, we took almost all last year off. Deceleration did from live streaming. We're going high volume, high frequency. That first year of COVID, it really felt important to be out there and trying to hold some relationships together. And so we've got some plans for this year. We're still looking at the project as a whole in a great degree of uncertainty and unknowing. Right? We're clear in a deep values way what we're working on in terms of productivity and coverage and money. We have absolutely we have fewer ideas about that. For stepping in and checking us out, and we'll see you hopefully Tuesday night.